Welcome to a Faster Me. This is my first race ever, UCLA road race. So it's cold and might rain, but I'd rather do a road race than a crit, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, welcome back to another race analysis. We have Ellen here. This is her first race, the UCLA road race. Ellen, just tell us how you're feeling here and what you're thinking.
Well, I was nervous just to be my first race. Not quite as nervous as I thought I was going to be, just because I get nervous with races or some regular rides. But I think I was a little bit less nervous just because we've done the preview the week before. But as we start going, I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable just riding with so many people.
Okay. So just being your first race, and his first road race, what do you think about being out there with so many, collegiate and just so many teams, so many organized teams?
Well, it was awesome to be out there, but I was a little intimidated just because they all work together as a team. I just kind of felt like I was out there by myself, which I was. So on one hand, it, like I said, was awesome to be with just so many women racing, but a little bit intimidating just because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, so I know coming up here in a little bit, you're going to kind of make a little move off the front, and we got a UCLA booty shake there. I don't know if she's just getting loose or adjusting her seat. Tell us what you're thinking here when you make the move to the front.
Well, I wasn't trying to make a move to the front, but I was feeling a little bit uncomfortable with so many people in the front of me, on the sides of me, coming up. It felt really easy. So I just thought I'd get out to be where I didn't have quite so many people by me. And then before I knew it, I was at the front. And then I had kind of a moment of panic as I felt the wind hitting me, that I wasn't quite sure what I was doing and not sure what would happen next, but I just decided to keep pedaling and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens when you get out to the front in your first ever road race. Yeah, you find out that pushing the wind is a little more difficult. As you see your watts there, 230, 240, stuff like that. Obviously, that's a little bit above your threshold, and yeah, that's going to be pretty hard to hold. Even though it feels easy, and a lot of times that's just adrenaline talking. So, right here the road starts to go up a little bit, and I'm pretty sure you're starting to feel it in your legs, right?
I wasn't feeling it at this time. I was just hoping maybe somebody would pass me and I could maybe feel that nice cozy draft that I was feeling in the beginning, and I could have got some more experience of riding in the draft because I never have with that many people before. So right now I was just thinking, what am I doing? And how did I get here? So as the group will start to pass, then I was thinking, how do I fall back in and get behind somebody?
Well, you're still pushing decent watts here. You see it climbing up to 270, 265 or so, 250. Obviously the road's starting to go up as well, so we're at least 5% grade now. And yeah, not to mention, something that we all take for granted is you're also at 4,000 feet when we live at about 600 feet. So were you feeling the altitude at all?
I definitely could feel the altitude. It felt like it was hard to breathe pretty much the whole time, but I also didn't feel too far out of my comfort zone as far as it just being hard. So you see the riders now starting to come by me. I was thinking, how do I get back over and into the draft, especially knowing that there's some teams. I felt a little bit intimidated, not wanting to, kind of push someone around, so I just kind of stayed where I was, and I think I let the entire entire peloton pass me, and then I try to jump on the back.
Yeah, I would say here, knowing how you feel, but I would say here, you definitely should have slid over to the left a little bit. Even if you don't get directly in the line, since it was pretty stretched out, courtesy of your attack. But yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, if you'd have just pulled over maybe after the first 2, 3, 4 riders went by, you would still get a partial draft just being next to them, especially when you're 3, 4 riders back. And typically what will happen is someone will either slow down or speed up, and you can fall in line, or you end up having 2 lines right there in the draft. So yeah, I would say definitely move over earlier next time. And but again, it's your first race, so falling back and jumping on the back of the group is not a big deal either. It's just some experience being gained here. But I will say, in hindsight, we were giving you a hard time about attacking so early, less than 1 mile into a 24-mile road race. But if you look at the results of your attack now, you sped up the pace. Everyone was pretty comfortable. You sped up the pace of the entire group, and now it's pretty stretched out, and you're putting some girls under a little stress. And they're probably thinking, hey, look at the rookie. She went out hard, and now she's busted. But, you're recover pretty quickly, and you're coming back pretty strong.
Yeah, I didn't think I attacked. I didn't really think I was hurting too bad. I'm sure as I look at my power now in a little bit of hindsight, I was able to, my heart rate, I probably did put a little attack in, but I was still feeling somewhat comfortable. I got into a rhythm here and knew that I only had about less than 4 miles to climb, and then it was going to be a pretty good downhill. So it looks like it's about 1.4 miles in, so a couple more miles of climbing. I was feeling pretty good, so I just got a rhythm here and just wanted to see kind of what I could do. I didn't realize at first that the group had stretched out so much. When I jumped on the back, I kind of thought everyone was still together, and then was able to see that it really broke apart.
Right, and I think that's where the benefit of you, if you would have slid into that 3rd, 4th, 5th spot, that would have been a big benefit to you, because you would have been able to watch what the group is doing. Sliding back so far when there's 25 or plus riders in the race, this is what happens. Like, you're not able to react to someone making a move off the front. So the group is definitely pretty busted up now. You see these girls are struggling a little bit with the climb here. Obviously everyone's struggling. A minute ago I think it was 9 or 10%. It's at 6% right here. And when you're climbing at over 4,000 feet altitude, the air is pretty thin. Most of these schools here are near the coast, so I believe you have like UCLA, UC San Diego. I don't remember if there's USC here or not, but Davis, USC, Berkeley, a lot of those schools are on the West Coast and not necessarily in a mountain range. So I don't know how much climbing people get. And it's a little different when you're steady climbing at altitude opposed to starting off at sea level and then moving up to a mountain and coming back. The altitude doesn't affect you as much that way as it does here when you start off at 4,000 feet. So I see here you just you're sitting behind 2 riders, and I'm not sure you should have stayed this long here. I don't know if you're gassed a little or not. Your heart rate's at 161. So yeah, I don't know why. Explain why you sat in this position so long.
Not exactly sure. I don't know if this was the girl that was playing some music, but I was kind of listening and then just trying to evaluate of if I wanted to sit and take a little break or if I wanted to make a push. So I obviously decided to go at this point and just see who I could kind of reel back in.
Yeah, well, you're moving pretty good right here. The grade's still at about 6%, and you're doing 9-ish miles per hour. Yeah, I'd say definitely you spent too much time behind those 2 riders if you were feeling okay. If you're gassed, then yeah, I understand taking a little breather. But if not, you spent way too much time behind those two riders. Especially as the group got stretched out like this, you basically can't sit behind anyone. You have to keep making progress until you get to a spot where you're, relatively comfortable. Or if you felt like, okay, I can't catch the front group, so I'm going to sit in here. But yeah, sitting at the back, you ran the risk of it just getting more stretched out.
Which I think is what is happening now. Can't even see the front group. So I just was counting the people that I was passing and seeing where I could go. So I think I've passed maybe 4 people now. So I didn't even know how many people started the race, but that was just what I was doing here, is trying to catch people, pass them, and counting off as I did.
Yeah, it's pretty, honestly, it's kind of irrelevant at this point how many people started the race. Everyone's, for the most part, going hard. Maybe not all out. We're going to fast forward a little bit here just for time's sake, so you get a little closer to the next riders that you catch. But yeah, I would say here's pretty good. You and I have very different riding styles, so you keep a fairly low cadence, like in my opinion, even climbing, a lot of times you're in the 60s or so, but you're keeping good rhythm and a good steady pace going.
Yeah, I felt really good on the first lap up until a little mishap that we'll talk about shortly. So I'm just had found a pretty good rhythm and was moving along here. Felt pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like you're pretty settled in here, kind of like at I would say maybe at almost at like power wise, almost at like your zone 3-ish power, and you're still making up ground on riders though, so I wouldn't say you're going all out, but you got to pace yourself on a 24-mile race that has over 3,000 feet of climbing. So I think it's a good rhythm, not trying to get too fast, because you definitely don't want to blow up in that type of altitude with a whole nother 12-mile route to go. Well, actually, you're probably about, I don't know, what is that? You're 2 miles, almost 3 miles in right now, so you basically have over 20 miles to go still. So yeah, you definitely don't want to go out too hard. I see the rider here too is putting in some nice power strokes here. Looks like she's struggling a little bit as this grade starts to ramp up a little. I think somewhere in here it gets to about 11%. I think they call this the staircase here, where it ramps up a little bit, then it flattens, and then ramps up again. So you're putting in a nice dig here too, power-wise.
Yeah, it's a little bit motivating to see a person out in front. Kind of gives you something to work for.
A little bit of a carrot.
A little bit of a carrot.
Yeah. I see the rider up front. I can't see her kit, but she has a pretty good cadence going there. So she's probably not, stressing the legs too much. I like the high cadence. I know you're a little bit more of a grinder, and you can see her turnover now is pretty good. She's turning the pedals pretty good here.
Yeah, so I just was kind of focusing here on trying to reel her back in. Knew that I had about a mile more of, the ups and downs before hitting the downhill. So I knew this was kind of my time. I could try to push, pretty hard here, but was still not at my max. Still had a little bit heart rate threshold. I wasn't really looking too much at my power, but just it fluctuated quite a bit, so it was just kind of trying to go.
It was a good job. You're catching her. I mean, you got behind her a little bit for a little bit of draft. It looks like maybe took a little breather and then regrouped to make the charge fire. One of the good things is you're moving past people with a decent amount of speed compared to what they're doing, so it makes it difficult for them to jump on your wheel without putting in a serious effort. And with this much climbing and just being the first lap, I'm pretty sure a lot of the ladies didn't want to do that. They didn't want to put that effort in to jump on your wheel when you go by them at a couple miles per hour faster. And I think right here is a good lesson for a lot of young racers or new racers like we are. But this section gets pretty fast here and it starts rolling. And if you notice the rider in front that you're approaching here, she coasts down on the downhill, and then she has to use power again to go up the hill. When you're powering through, staying on top of the gear here and keeping your momentum, as you can see, you're up to 27 miles per hour here, and these are like little rollers. And the rider in front right now is coasting. Now she's pedaling again on the uphill, but that takes a lot out of your legs. And if you look how much faster you're going than she is, and you just pass her with so much speed, it's hard for someone to jump onto your wheel when you're passing that much because you kept that momentum.
But she did. I heard a couple click, 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 and then she was right on me. So she caught a nice draft for a little bit of time here.
But she also paid the price to catch that draft. That little click, click, and those acceleration, that burns your legs, and you pay for it later.
But as you'll come to find out, I was happy she did jump on.
Yeah. So I think here still you did a great job of staying on top of the gear, keeping momentum. It's starting to go downhill now, so yeah, the speed's gonna pick up either way it goes. But you kept a good job through those rollers and just kept your momentum the entire way. Especially after climbing, that's important to keep pushing through, not take it as a break.
And that was one of my semi-goals to start off. I wanted to push on the downhill just because it was fast, but I knew I could get a little bit of relief, but also hopefully, put in a little bit of work too to either make up time or improve time, just because I think it was a section that was not too technical and you can just kind of go as fast as you can go, other than a few bumps in the road and a few maybe uneven sections. It was a really fun downhill section that was not too scary.
Well, that's good to hear that you say it was fun, because a lot of people get afraid on the downhill, and you can make up a lot of time on a descent. The speed is high, and if you're 4 or 5 miles per hour faster than another rider, that's a big gap that they're going to have to make up on the next climb. And right here you're going pretty good. I don't think you're being as efficient as you could be. I don't know if you're sitting up a little bit or not, but you're at 33 miles per hour, and I know when we did it the week before on the preview, you're a lot closer to 40 miles per hour coming through here. So I'm not exactly sure why your speed's down a little bit, but it's obviously a good job descending, and it is pretty fast. I don't know what the wind was like there at the time.
I don't remember the wind too much on this lap, just because I was thrown off at a point. The next lap the wind was pretty significant, but I was pedaling at some points here, trying to be as aero as possible, tucking pretty good, and it was starting to feel really good.
Until what?
Well, I feel a shift in my jersey very shortly. Then my friend behind me says something, and I realize my phone is nowhere to be found, and she was letting me know that my phone did indeed fall out. So that will be coming up pretty shortly here. That was a huge momentum killer, lost my rhythm, had to go back for my phone.
So just one question. Did anyone advise you not to bring a phone?
Yes. My lovely husband told me don't bring a phone. So yes, that is what has happened here. I'm slowing. I'm trying to think, do I want to get the phone on the next
Oh, look,
level or
there
not?
it is right there.
Yes.
Here's my phone. It's going to be put in a more secure pocket. Really sucks.
All right, so we don't show it all here, just for time's sake. I sped it up a little bit, or I edited the cut. But we pretty much estimate that you lost about 6 minutes right there. Everyone in the field has now passed you. And, when you're going 40 miles per hour, 6 minutes can be a few miles. I mean, I believe 20 miles per hour is about 3 minutes a mile. So, yeah, most of the girls could be close to 2 miles in front of you, depending on how much is left on this descent. Given that they are going 40 miles per hour. If not, they're probably at least 1 to 1.5 miles in front of you now.
Yes, it was so painful. And when I turned around, I was in the absolute hardest gear because I didn't think to shift to an easier gear while I was still pedaling. So then it took me quite a while to try to get down to a lower gear. It was painful to watch, so I'm glad my husband edited that and saved everyone the pain of watching me struggle back up, walking half the time to get my phone.
So more importantly, once you got your phone, what's your attitude now? What was your thought process?
So I think I had passed maybe, I don't know, however many people before. So my goal here was let me try to catch 4 of maybe the 7 people. So I was just trying to put in, I don't know, as hard of an effort as I could to see if I could maybe pass a few of those people back again.
So you're going pretty good here with the, downhill. You're 38, back up closer to 40, and this is starting mid descent, so you didn't have your speed up. It's just, the only thing I would think is putting in a solid effort, because to be honest with you, if I would have dropped the cell phone in a race and lost 6 minutes, I would have been thinking there's no way I'm going to catch really anyone. Giving it a 6-minute lead when there's about 16 miles left to go in this race. 6 minutes over 16 miles that's a big deal. I can see you caught one rider already before the descent, and now you're just about to make the turn onto Tejon Road, which starts basically a couple mile false flat, and then the last turn here going back up the climb.
And I think on the little part that was cut out, I think I kind of fell asleep. There was nobody around. I was just kind of in a zone. I think I stopped giving quite as hard of an effort. I was just in a good steady rhythm, but I think I zoned out a little bit, just not having anyone there.
Well, it looks like you have a rider in sight now, just getting back close to the feed zone and the start-finish line. And so, yeah, it looks like maybe you zoned out, but you're still keeping probably a good rhythm, and you did make up some time. I mean, obviously you've caught another rider, so you couldn't have zoned out too much.
Yeah, it felt good to know, okay, the climb is coming up, so I'm probably going to be able to maybe catch some people here just because it's going to be a hard effort.
All right, I think I'm right here on the right.
My phone fell out on the backside. I had to go back for it.
You got this.
Yeah, let's go. Good job.
I'll let you guys hear the live shot here. That's the young lady that you're approaching.
Good job, El. Keep a good rhythm. Keep a good rhythm. 1 to go.
My phone fell out on the backside. I had to go back for it.
Oh, I told you not to bring your phone.
Just like a husband, you have to throw in an "I told you so" if you get the chance. So, all right, so yeah, let's focus again, and you got another rider in sight, and they're pushing on. So.
Yeah, so here was just the start of the next climb. I think it's not quite climbing, but just about to start.
Yeah, you're basically at the starting point again. That's the pits right there on the left. So yeah. So here, another thing I would say is you obviously caught this rider pretty quick, and I think here you spend too much time behind her. If you need a break, yeah, catch a draft, catch a break, regroup, and then go past her. But you know, obviously, if she's at the back, the other riders are probably pulling away. So I wouldn't spend too much time behind her next time.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how tired I felt, or just kind of practicing, taking a little break in someone's draft, and then moving on.
All right, so I think we have a couple other riders in sight here. I believe you passed 2 riders so far after the whole phone mishap. Yeah, so tell me what your thoughts are here.
Well, I was just thinking, here's another couple. I caught them, so that means I can probably pass them, and then that would be the goal of the 4 that I had. And then I just was gonna see if there was anyone else I could reel in.
So I think the rider we just passed was the only other lady in the race that was not part of one of the college teams. Not 100% sure, but I believe so. And then I think that was a USC rider there. Again, this is a steep part, 9-10%, so you can see how the ladies were hurting with that slow cadence and just power stroke. So yeah, this must be taxing your legs about now, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little tired, but again, I know it's only another, 3-4 miles, and then I'm gonna have some downhill. So I actually like to climb, and I like to go downhill. The flats are my least favorite. It's hard to just push on your own, but the hills force you to push, and then the downhill is, kind of a nice break from that.
All right, so I think this was one of the original riders you were behind at the beginning of the race. Maybe the young lady that was playing music from UCLA. But if you can see, she's really struggling right here. A lot of head movement. The bike is weaving back and forth, a little harder to hold a line. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like you're doing pretty good compared to the field, and still got a lot of energy here.
The wind was horrible right here. The headwind felt so strong. And then turning the corner, it was also felt like a headwind, but a crosswind as well. This lap, the wind had picked up, and it felt like there was just no relief from the wind.
So, quick question. Some people may think it's nice. I'm not really sure. You would never get this in a men's race. But why are you saying good morning when you pass riders as if you're in a group ride on Saturday?
I really don't know. I've never been in a race. It seemed like the nice thing to do, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Because definitely men would not be saying good morning as they pass you. And if they were, it would be like, them trying to clown or brag. But I know that wasn't your intention. It was more just a thing of, I guess, being uncomfortable and not knowing to say on your left or not, or what to say while you're passing. But honestly, in a road race like this and the speed being so slow, you really don't need to say much. It's nice if you do, but yeah, there was no danger of that person or a collision when you're going 8 miles per hour and you're 6 feet away from someone. In a crit, yeah, we don't say much in a crit actually, but when you're going into a corner, sometimes you'll give on your left, on your right, whatever the case may be, or inside, outside, things like that.
Yeah, all the women that I interacted with are, girls, women, all seemed very welcoming, friendly, so it did feel a little bit more like a ride than a race. But yes, I did not know really what to say or how to go by somebody.
So here's 2 more riders. I believe this is number 5 and 6 that you catch back up to. They have a good rhythm going here, but I'm not sure they're pushing as hard as they could. It seems like they've kind of settled into the place they're in. And you have a good exchange right here.
Yeah, my phone fell out.
Yeah.
It's like, dang it.
Yeah.
Then, of course, I'm in the hardest gear.
Is it fine, all right?
Yeah.
Good.
Final lap.
No, is your phone all right?
Oh, yeah, my phone's fine. Sorry. Fatigue,
Yeah, of course.
Now that's just lovely. The young lady was concerned of how your phone was doing. And yeah, so much different than a guy's race, because I don't think any any male racer would even care that you dropped your phone. But yeah, you guys seem very sincere. It was nice, and it's actually refreshing to see that people can compete against each other and have fun and be nice and not try to cut each other's throats. So yeah, it's kind of pretty refreshing. So here is a big difference, and this is an awesome descent here. I mean, you're already at 44 miles per hour. I believe you've caught 6 or 7 riders so far. So yeah, if you compare this to your last descent, where you're doing about 36, 37, yeah, I think you're going to be almost 10 miles per hour faster on this descent, which honestly, that's the way to descend. I mean, you're tucked. It must be a nice aero position here, and not wasting any energy. That just pick up.
Yeah, it was really fun. Had nobody in sight at this moment, but knew I could go faster than I had on the first descent, just because I'd gone a few miles faster when we weren't even trying a week ago. So I knew that just had to be kind of like a rhythm and dropping my phone. So I was just trying to go for it, and it was fun. So I was spinning out the hardest gear, and then I just tucked. Almost had my stomach on the seat, just trying to be as low as possible. Was able to hold it for so long that I started to get a neck ache, and my legs were hurting.
Yeah,
but it was fun.
That's definitely where an aero helmet would come into play. You know, I have an aero helmet, and it does take the pressure off your neck a little bit. I know that's such a small thing, and a lot of people say, oh, the aero helmet's not worth it. It is. When I had a regular helmet, kind of like yours with a lot more air vents, I did used to have a little more neck pain at speed, and now my head's a little bit more stable with the aero helmet that I have. So, and I saw a top speed there of 47. Oh, this is an interesting area. If you look at the rider, there's a rider on the horizon. If you look real close, there's going to be about 3 coyotes that run back and forth across the road in front of the rider up there.
Yeah, it was fun. They seemed like they were playing.
I hope I caught those coyotes.
Yeah, that's definitely always a good thing when you see wildlife on the road, or anytime you're on your ride and you see wildlife. That's one of the beauties of cycling, opposed to training in your house.
Okay.
So I think here you're going to get caught by the very first group of men that went out. I don't know what field that was. They're the 7:05 race time, but I think they're doing 3 or 4 laps. So this is most likely their 3rd lap, and they started about a half a lap in front of you, so it looks like they made up half a lap on you. What were your thoughts when they were coming by?
Well, even though I really wanted to, I chose not to look back and see when they were coming. I just decided to ride. And when they do pass me, the 4th one says something pretty nice and encouraging. I can't remember exactly what, but that was kind of nice as well. And they looked like they were just, cruising on by, but then it looked like they were putting in a little effort as they passed me. And then I think I tried to speed up just a little bit also.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting here because they go by you pretty fast. You're doing 13. They went by you, you're doing 13. Now you're doing 12. But you kind of stalemate them a little bit. They get this gap, and then it kind of holds for a little bit where you're basically going the same speed they were, maybe a tad slower, half a mile per hour possibly. And then it gets to a point where it looks like you even start to reel them back in just a little bit.
Yeah, when I saw the woman in front of me with the coyotes, I kind of debated with myself if I wanted to commit to trying to catch her or beat her at the line, because I knew there wasn't too much time left. And then I decided I'm going to catch her. And so I think I started working a little bit harder here. And this is probably the hardest section, or the hardest part of my riding, is the relatively flat, or the 1 or 2%. It's just really hard for me to put the effort in
I can tell you're probably pretty fatigued now, only because you've only been doing about 150, 140 watts. Your heart rate's a little bit up at 163. I think it was 164 a second ago. Yeah, I mean, you're spinning pretty good at 86 for you. For me, that would be like painfully low. But yeah, I mean, normally you spin a little slower than that. So yeah, I think maybe a little fatigue setting in, so you must be in a little bit higher of a gear. And yeah, just not having the energy at the moment.
And I don't know how it felt like a headwind here too, when there was a headwind the opposite direction. So I don't know if the wind was swirling or if I was just tired.
Well, the thing is, when you're on a circuit this big, yeah, the conditions are going to change. I mean, it's a 12-mile lap, so what's 4 miles away, the wind could be a completely different direction. And here it is, you have the rider in sight, and unfortunately, the battery's gonna run out. So I believe you do make the pass on her, correct?
I did catch her, and I sat behind her for a while, and I was debating, do I want to just sit behind her and try to go at the line? But then I thought I caught her, so I can probably pass her. I put in a little dig, and then she will come flying by me at the end, and I have nothing left.
Well, here's a shot from the other angle. I think when I pick it up, she's already passed you, and she is putting in a hard
Let's go,
effort.
Ellen,
I can't
all the way
remember the young
through.
lady's name. I believe she's from UCSD, and if you'll hear her grunting on the way by. That's a great job by her, finishing strong all the way through.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
And she flew by me.
And I
go all
believe
the way
this is a
through,
Cat
all the way
5
through.
min that you guys caught. Just about caught, and good job by him too,
good
just
job.
being out there and finishing.
Scout. Okay, so how do you feel after your first race?
It was really fun. I dropped my phone going downhill on the backside and had to go back for it. I was in the hardest gear, couldn't get clipped in, so I almost had to walk back for it. Everybody that I had passed right back, so then lost my rhythm, was playing catch up, but I passed maybe 7 people, so it was really fun. Can't wait to get back out here.
Just don't Franken edit anything.
So UCSD people, okay. How many girls are in the race?
We have five girls,
Okay.
4 here today. Hopefully we can double that number next year.
And what time do you guys race?
7:15.
All right, so my wife will be in the same race with you guys.
Yeah, is she the Cat 5?
Yes. Is there only one?
Well, no, I think I saw there was a woman who was saying that this was her first race.
Yeah, it's my wife.
So I was like, oh.
Yeah. Hope there's more than one Cat 5, but it is what it is,
Yeah, there definitely should be.
Yeah.
This will be a fun race. Does she like climbing? It's hard to assess, since climbing is such an individual thing,
Right.
where people are going to be. And I think, the temptation is going to be to just, try to get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 7.5 miles to get over with.
Right.
So,
And then that other steep part too gets up to about 11 or so %.
yeah, so pacing is going to be important. I think it's going to be important to look at if there are people who attack to assess their ability and see how they're going to do.
Right.
It'll be an interesting and fun climate.
And?
Yeah, well, CBR number 3 is coming up next week.
And it's
So,
all women too?
Yeah, those are all women.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they have women exclusive.
If she likes this, maybe I can convince her to jump in there. I plan on doing CBR number 3, but I don't know if she is or not.
Yeah, no, she should
So.
totally do it.
Cool.
It's super fun.
All right, well, thank you guys. Have a good ride and all that good stuff.